are live. Wait. Oh, wait. Now we're live. All right. We weren't live, but now we're live. We are currently live on YouTube. This is my personal finance class. We're going to write some checks today. So, every check that you ever see will have a bunch of similarities, like the name and address block of the person whose checkbook the check is coming from is usually in the upper left. In the upper right is usually the check number. Checks are ordered sequentially, usually in a book, a check book of like 100. So there'll be 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, all the way up to like 199. Then the next checkbook will start at 200 and go to 299, and then it started 300, 399, and then they'll kind of go from there. So then you'll have a date that is when you want the person to be able to cash the check. It is not necessarily when you're writing the check or today's date. For example, let's say I'm living paycheck to paycheck like 70% of Americans, and I don't want you to cash this check, meaning take it to the bank and exchange it for money, until Friday. I can write, let's say, right now it's June 3rd. I can write June 7th on this check. And if today is June 3rd and you take it to the bank and you say, hello, I'd like to cash this check, they should say, I'm sorry, this is dated for June 7th. You can't cash this until June 7th. We'll see you in 4 days.
Can you cash it after that date?
You can cash it anytime after that date, usually up to 180 days.
Could you put a limit on the days that you can cash it?
You, the person, cannot. It's usually 90, 180, or maybe even a year. And then it'll usually say, like, on the check, void after 90 days, void after 180 days, et cetera, et cetera. So the date is when you are going to allow the people to cash the check. Then we get into the meat and potatoes of the check. Pay to the order of. That is who you are writing the check to. This could be to your landlord. This could be to Best Buy. This could be to your friend. This could be to your teacher if you're trying to bribe them. Hint, hint. This could be to your credit card bill if you're like 90% of Americans. Allison, could you shut the door, please? So pay to the order of is who you are writing the check to. It usually is a person or a business. Sometimes if there's like two people get married and you're like to Jack and Sue, then they both need to either sign the check on the back or they both need to go to the bank to deposit it. So sometimes that's a problem. Usually just write it out to one person.
Do they both get like the amount of money, or do they split it in half?
They would get the exact amount that it's made out to, and then it's up to them to split it.
Oh.
Usually if you have a joint account with someone, you're comfortable sharing the money. Okay, so that's the who. The next line is how much the check is for, written out in words. This is where hopefully you know how to spell words like 80 or 90. Some like 90 sounds like there's a D in it. There isn't. That's a trap. Okay, so anyway, you'll have to write out in words 1,462, 47, 1963, whatever, in words. Then this exact amount in words gets written in numbers. Okay? When you write it in numbers, you left align it, meaning put it all the way over to the left so no one can sneak in like a 1 or a 2 or a 3. You left align the words also so no one can sneak in a 1 or a 2 or a 3. And then you put a line afterward so no one can sneak in more stuff or like thousands or gabillions after whatever you write. And we'll do an example later. So you write it out in words, you write it out in numbers. When the check is cashed, the bank teller or the person will make sure that these two things are exactly the same. If they're not, they would probably ask for a new check. If they're like close, they would go with the thing in words. But if it was like a really big amount, they'd probably ask for a new check. Then the lower left is the memo line, or in this case, it's the for line. It's what you, the person, are writing the check for. So if you write a lot of checks and you don't want to forget what they were for, you put a little note to yourself: rent, or maybe bribe for finance teacher, or new computer at Best Buy. Whatever you bought, you can put down here. This is the least important part of the check. This is for you and you only. The bank teller does not care what you put on this line. You can put karate lessons. You could put, I bought a friend. You could put drugs. You can literally put anything you want. The what? Kachuga? Kachuga. Yeah. If you want to put something from Cars the movie, sure. The bank teller might look at you and be like, "I'm sorry, did you put the thing that one guy says in Cars?" And you're like, "Yep."
And you say, "I am Lightning McQueen. I am Speed."
I don't know if you guys are up on the latest teacher gossip with my. Oh no, I did tell you guys the bats in my attic. Did I tell you guys that? Yep. Okay. So the Batman came out and did the assessment. Turns out there's bats in the attic. I could have told him that. And so he needed a check for the estimate. In the for, I just wrote bats. That's probably weird, except the Batman goes to the bank and says, "Here's a check." Yeah, I could have put like Batman. That'd have been cool. He was not the Dark Knight. He was a dude named Chet. And he removes bats from people's attics. Chet the Batman.
Does he have a big vacuum too?
Yes, that's actually just a vacuum cleaner that he holds up in the air and sucks up all the bats. And then turns it on like reverse or whatever, and then spits them out at my neighbors. I'm like, go get that neighbor.
It's like, I'll give you $100 more on this check.
Right. Spit these bats at my neighbor who said my lawn looks like trash, and then paybacks. I will add some money.
That there's bats in your yard, so
yeah.
Take one.
Enjoy your backyard. All right. Anyway, if you were watching this on YouTube and thought that was weird to say, well, welcome to my channel. So again, this has nothing to do with anything except it's an internal note device for the people writing the checks. Then you sign the check on the front. Okay. So if you are the check writer, you sign it on the front. If you are the check receiver, you sign it on the back. So if your grandma sends you a check for your birthday for $5 because she still thinks it's 1960 and $5 is a lot, you get the check, you're like, "Oh, thanks, Graham," and you flip it over, you sign it, you take it to the bank. You use more money and gas to go to the bank to cash the check than it costs, or than the check is worth. But it's the thought that counts. So that is a check. We are now going to write a check together. I'm going to write a check on June 3rd, 2019. You can write this any acceptable date format. If you want to write out JUNE, fine. If you want to do 6, fine. If you want to use dashes, fine. If you want to use slashes, fine. It does not matter. So whatever, it was canceled. Thank you though. So we'll go with 6-3-19. Okay. If you want to write June 3rd, 2019, great. If you want to do 6/3/19, wonderful. Does not matter. We are going to write a check to Michigan Bat specialists. Bats are all they do. That's their slogan. Shout out Michigan bat specialists coming to my house on Wednesday.
Leaving the bats in your attic.
Hopefully getting rid of all of the bats from my attic.
Yeah, I thought
No. Yeah, that was a weird thing. That was 2 companies said they're not allowed to move the bats. 2 companies said, yeah, we can get them out.
if you have a good enough vacuum.
Right. Yeah, if your vacuum is strong enough, we'll get them out right now. No, I guess they're like baby season isn't for another couple weeks. So we can get them out before they have their children. So I'm not running a bat nursery for the summer. It's not the bat brothel or the bat nursery. They're just there living and then they're leaving. The people on YouTube are like,
It's a bat bathroom.
so yeah. It's a bat apartment / bathroom.
Condo.
Yes, bat hotel. Yes, and they're not paying rent though, so they're like,
Eviction.
yeah, so they're getting evicted.
Yep.
We're gonna pay for their consulting fee, which was $125. That was their estimate fee for them to come out and look at my house and look at my bats. It was $125. Right? I know. However, this does go toward the purchase price of getting the bats out. So this comes off of their invoice total if we choose them, which we did. So now we write it out in words. Left align it so no one can put anything in front. And also notice that they have the word dollars at the end, so you don't have to write dollars. So 125, and so it's in dollars. We have 0 cents, so you can do this in a couple different ways. You can put 0 over 100, which this is 0 100ths dollars, or 0 100ths of a dollar. Then put the slash. If the check was for 50 cents, 125.50, you would put 125 and 50 100ths dollars. Now, it sounds stupid, but that's just how the checks are.
Wait, so do we have to put 0 out of 100?
Yes, because there's no cents. You could put no, N-O, over 100. I've seen that before. That's acceptable. It doesn't really matter. And then what is this for? This is for bat removal, aka Batman. And then we're going to sign it with your name. And then that would be handed to the Batman. No, Batman.
Let me do this.
I only made one bat joke. Did I tell you guys that?
That's batshit crazy.
We made like 40.
He came up and said, he was like, hey, my name's Chet. I'm with Michigan Bat. I'm like, cool, where's Robin? And he goes, oh, I get it. And then didn't smile.
He's like,
and I was
oh,
like, all right,
that's,
so it's going to be this kind of a thing? All right, we got it. Cool. All right. So anyway, people on YouTube watching, I hope you enjoyed learning about all of my life's problems. And you hope you learned a little about writing checks and bats. With that.
You forgot about the lab trick on the Robin.
Oh, shoot.
See the
More, stop picking your nose.
No, I'm not picking my nose. People on YouTube, I am not picking my nose. So anyway, I said to the Batman, where's Robin? Oh, guys, you guys are so funny. Hey, you know what? This has been a good time. Oh, man, thanks, guys. No, seriously, you don't have to applaud. I get paid to be here. It's fine. Oh, my goodness. Guys, take it easy. All right. With that, I'm going to sign off. Goodbye.